Hello everybody, it is I, Mr. Charlie Murray, and welcome to my AMA, or my Q&A, depending on how you want to say it. I asked you guys last week, I believe it was, to submit questions, as many questions as you liked, and you really did. You sent in quite a few questions, so it's quite possible I may have to do two parts of the AMA, but we will have to see, because I don't want to keep this video too long. I only want it to be about 20 to 30 minutes long, and then, you know, if there's any more questions, I'll just do it in a part 2 sometime in a later date. But yeah, if I don't answer your question, it was either A, already answered, or B, one of the, I say the silly questions, you know, sort of like, will you play this, will you play that? I've kind of already told you. And sorry if I just did an impression of all of you who's ever asked that question. I do apologise. It's just, that's how it sounds in my head. I'm sorry. But anyway, so shall we get on with the AMA? I think we shall. Before we begin as well, I should probably say that the video you're actually watching in the background isn't live as I'm actually talking. This was recorded days before I actually started putting this video together. It's just so that it gives you something to just sort of watch while you're listening, or, you know, if you just want to go and play Star Wars: The Old Republic or any other game while you're listening, you could do that as well, but, you know, hey, I did some decorating. Woo. And now we shall begin. So this is kind of a combined question of two, because they're slightly related to each other, so I thought I'd put them together. So, Ant0Mag asks, how much Star Wars lore do you know of? And Combo Speaker 11 asks, do you read any Star Wars novels? And if so, which one is your favourite? Well, you know, obviously I know of Star Wars: The Old Republic. I played KOTOR years and years ago. I think I was literally a teenager when I played it, and I played through it all the way through once, and I just adored it. I adored it so much that I bought KOTOR 2 on the original Xbox, and I never played it. I played for about 10 minutes, literally, and the game crashed. The reason why is because, you know, I bought the game second hand, and it had all these scratches and everything, you know, the sort of dangers of buying things second hand. And I couldn't play it because the disc was just scratched, so I never got a chance to play it. And obviously years later, I'm playing KOTOR again on my YouTube, so I can refresh my mind before I play KOTOR 2, because I need to play KOTOR 2, because I really should have done that years ago. Obviously, I've watched the Star Wars films, well, the first 4 anyway. I haven't watched 5 and 6, shockingly, I know, and the worst part of it is, I know their story without even watching them, mostly because I've played the Lego Star Wars games, and I've nearly 100%ed that. I really need to 100% that. I've watched a few of the episodes of the Clone Wars, and it's terrible movie. I am trying to make my way through that as well. I even have a SWTOR Encyclopedia 2, so that gives me the know-how on everything Star Wars: The Old Republic. But as for reading any novels, I don't really read books anymore. Years and years ago, I would read and read, but these days, I have a very short attention span. You know, if I'm reading a book and I see a fly, I'm like, ooh, a fly! So that's my life these days. But tell you what I have been listening to. There's this audiobook of Star Wars called Maul Lockdown, which is basically the backstory to Darth Maul before Star Wars Episode 1. And from the first few chapters I've listened to, it's really good. Of course, I've lost track of it now. I really need to get back into listening to it. So, and I got many other Audible credits as well for me to use up. So I really should use them up as well on other Star Wars novels. But yes, so that's that. That's how much lore I know of Star Wars. Dealing Man asks, can you play the Dragon Age games? Now, would you guys want me to play the Dragon Age games? Because the thing is, I've already played them on my Xbox 360. I've played Dragon Age 1 Origins and Awakening, the expansion that came with it. And I've played Dragon Age 2 and some of its DLC, and of course Dragon Age 2 was just, and I don't really fancy playing that again. And of course I'm going to be buying Inquisitor when that comes out. Is it this year or is it next year? I can't remember. But would you really want me to play Dragon Age on my channel very slowly? I don't really know. It's say in the comments if you'd want me to, but I wouldn't mind playing the first one, but the second one I really don't want to, but I may do if you actually want me to. Brian Nugayan asks, can you play sorry if I got your name wrong. Can you play games other than MMO? I already have in the past. I've played games such as SimCity, Democracy 3, Alone in the Dark, Razogun, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Hearthstone, Game Dev Tycoon, Watch Dogs, but the thing is, you guys don't really seem to watch them, and most of you are here for Star Wars The Old Republic. But feel free to check the playlist of the non-Star Wars games I have played. I've put an annotation up right now, but there's also a link in the description if you want to take a look at that playlist, because you might be on a mobile or something like that. I don't know. So, and it's gone! Another combined question now. Hi Big T asks, who is your favourite character in the Star Wars saga? And Corey Bishop also asks, who is your favourite character in the entire Star Wars universe from the Old Republic era onwards? Now that is a tricky one, because there's so many good characters, but then there's so many bad characters as well, and it's hard to pick off just one or two characters throughout the entire of the Star Wars universe, but I will try my best. In terms of the movies, it's got to be clearly Anakin Skywalker, no doubt about it. That is everybody's favourite. Everybody's. Nah, I'm just kidding, yeah. As if it would be Anakin Skywalker, for crying out loud. Come on. Anyway, honestly, it would probably, even though it's not really a character, and I'm saying it very carefully because many of you, if I were to say he, you'd be like, it's not a he, how dare you? But it would probably have to be R2-D2, clearly, because it just knows how to take a bad situation and just make it worse, but he just handles a worse situation better than the simple situation, and it's just fantastic. That is why I love R2-D2. But as for the Star Wars universe as a whole, then Revan, just no doubt, he is the greatest Jedi and the greatest Sith to probably have ever lived. And honestly, if they don't mention him in episodes 7 to 9, I will be really annoyed, because he is one of those characters that just deserves to be mentioned in the movies, because he is just a sort of legend. He is a legend throughout the 3,000... He should be a legend throughout those 3,000 years in the time which the Old Republic and the movies had. He should be classed as a legend, and if they don't mention him, even just the slightest mention in the movies, I will be really annoyed. But obviously, you know, I don't make the movies. I worry I'm going to get this name wrong. Griffin Heistreiter asks, I know this is a sad question, but when will you stop YouTube? Well, someone wants to get rid of me, don't they? No, I'm just kidding. But in all fairness, I really don't know. I suppose when it starts being a hassle, like if I were to get a job, a full-time job, because obviously I only work part-time plus whatever hours my job gives me, but let's say I get like a full-time job, you know, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, then there may be a time where I do have to give up my YouTube, because it literally does become a hassle. You know, here I am working, and this YouTube is essentially a hobby to me. It's essentially a hobby that I get the teeniest bit, well, I say the teeniest bit of money, you know, it's not a tiny amount of money, but it's some money, right? So, essentially, it is a hobby for me. So I suppose I probably could continue, but the videos would probably be very minimalistic, because the hours I get at my job, you know, they're all random, so I can work around them. But if I got like a fixed 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job, that may be a bit different. So that's what's that going to happen. Also, I can't really help it if I die. So if I die, then, you know, there'll be no videos. I've always thought about putting just making a video for, like, if I do die, and then I'll sort of like put it in a will and say to whoever sees the will, please upload this video to my YouTube to let my subscribers know that I'm dead. I have been thinking on doing that, but I don't really know. Obviously, if you don't see any videos for like 2-3 months, then it's probably that I'm dead, because I will try my best to let you know if something happens to me. So that you know where videos are. But, you know, if there's no videos for 2 to 3 months, I'm dead, I'm afraid. That's how it's going to be. But don't panic after like the first month if there's no videos. It could just be I'm taking a break or something. I don't know. NickBuster1 asks, what is your favourite Flashpoint on SWTOR? I've never really had a favourite, to be honest. But if I had to say, it would probably be, guess who? The Foundry. And probably even the Maelstrom Prison on the Republic side as well, because the Foundry is the Imperial side. Basically because both Flashpoints are to do with, spoilers, Revan. And they just set themselves up brilliantly for, you know, the big reveal that Revan is the person behind those Flashpoints. Because it's like when I was doing the Maelstrom, when I was doing Toral 5 and the Maelstrom Prison, when they were sort of saying a Jedi who has been in prison for 300 years, I should have realised it was Revan, because that's the whole thing with Revan. He was in prison for 300 years. And I should have known that, but I didn't. I literally didn't, and I feel dumb for not knowing. So when I realised it was Revan, I thought, wow, how did I not know this? So that's why I say those two are my favourite Flashpoints. And they have some pretty good bosses as well, I will say that as well. Ghosties asks, why is Ian so awesome? I don't really know. Let's ask him, shall we? Ian, why are you so awesome? Die. I'm not awesome. I'm the worst, in fact. However, you, Charlie, are like a god to me. I'll bow down to Charlie. That was Irish. I swear that was Irish, not Scottish. Before you think to yourself, Charlie, what are you doing? Why are you being rude to that person? That is Ian, the guy I play with sometimes in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and he's been in my videos a few times. He's an idiot, but he's still my friend. Love you, Ian. Not really love you, but you know what I mean. Daro Gaming asks, if you ever plan on playing a Jedi, will it probably be the son of Kranitoko? That would be very awesome. Happy face. Well, that is an interesting theory. I'm not entirely sure, because in my head I like to think that all the stories are on par with each other, so all the class stories take place within the same 2 years, which I believe they even do as well. So if Kranitoko's story happened on par with the Jedi Knight story in theory, it would be a bit weird in my head for it to essentially be 20 years after Kranitoko's story. If the Jedi Knight story was 20 years after Kranitoko's story, it wouldn't. In my head, I wouldn't like that, because my head is very peculiar. You don't want to be in my head. My head is just, but I would still take it under consideration. Mr. Rage Quit Chicken asks, and I think you've actually been a long time follower of mine, I shall mention that. If Kranitoko wouldn't have been your alias, what name would it be? When I was a teenager, I actually played this game called Habbo Hotel, and it is actually still around, and you can still play it, so there's a link in the description if you want to play Habbo Hotel as well. My character's name was actually called Clockback. Bear this in mind, this was way before I played World of Warcraft and got the name Kranitoko, so I probably would have gone with the name Clockback. Also, interesting fact, when I was playing Habbo, I was actually a DJ. There's all these Habbo radio sites that you know, play music and does giveaways via the Habbo game, and I was actually a DJ on one of those radio sites. But you know, whenever I came on, people turned off. So yeah. Oh, and my DJ name was actually DJ Time, because it worked very well with my Clockback username. And one of the sites which I DJ'd on, and I will mention their site because it might give them a bit more exposure, because yeah, no, it's they deserve it for putting up with me. hffm.co.uk. So if you want to go to that site and take a look and, you know, give them some support, that'd be great. Ants in Your Pants 501 asks, do you watch Sherlock the BBC show, and if so, who is your favourite character? And if you don't watch it, I do recommend it. I have actually watched the very first series of it fully, and I have watched the first episode of series 2. I haven't actually got any further than that. I don't know why. It's happened to me twice. I've rewatched series 1 twice. Well, what happened? I watched episodes 1 to 3 of series 1, then I watched episode 1 of series 2, and I just stopped. And then I tried to watch Series 2, Episode 1 again, and I stopped. I don't know why I'm stopping. I don't know. I just stopped, and I just haven't bothered to carry on. But as for my favourite character, obviously it's going to be tricky because I haven't watched all of the episodes, and there's not really many memorable ones, to be honest. There's the main three which I can recall at the moment. There's Sherlock, there's Watson, and then there's Sherlock's brother. I forgot his name. That's the only three memorable ones which I really remember. So it would probably just have to be Sherlock, to be honest, because, well, he's just damn brilliant, isn't he? Dr. D Gamer asks, do you still work at Morrisons? Sadly. However, since last year, you could say I've moved up in the world, but that would be a lie. Because last year I was just a checkout operator. I still do that, but just on the weekdays, to be honest. I work as something called a systems clerk now, on a weekend, where I check for empty gaps on the shelves and print out reports that need working. It's a ton of fun, and I got to get up at 7 o'clock. I got to get up at 6:15 to be in for 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and Sunday. Oh, God. How to do asks, do you ever get recognized on SWOTOR? Almost every time I log into SWOTOR, yeah. I'll log in, and then about 5 minutes later, or 10 minutes later, or any time really, someone will actually send me a message. I mean, it's always nice receiving a message, except for during the times I am actually recording, and it actually does show up in the recording, which is why I've had to actually turn the chat off now when I am making an episode. Or I have the chat tabbed on to something else which whispers can't actually appear in my chat. There have been times when I've actually been using the fleet chat, looking for a group and all that, and all of a sudden someone's like, oh wow, hey, it's Kranitoko. But, that very rarely happens. It's always exciting though, although I'm not the best player. It is really nice to know that I'm a big part of the SWOTOR fan base, and it's really, really cool. Eddie the Boss Gamer asks a very important question. What is your favourite flavour of pie? Chicken. Why do you ask? Ryan McAlinden is a funny name. Will you play Wizard 101, and what MMO was the first one you played? I actually had no clue what Wizard 101 was before I researched it. I can't say I will play it because it just doesn't look like it's very appealing to me. But thank you for the suggestion anyway. I might still do a video in the future. I don't really know. Who knows? If people demand it so much, possibly. But the first MMO I played is probably, well, everybody's favourite. Everybody's first, and technically favourite, for people of my age. Can you guess? It was RuneScape. RuneScape was literally the MMO of my day before World of Warcraft came along, because it was just a huge world you could explore, and it could all just be played within your browser. I suppose many people, when they had a spare few hours at school, they would just go to the IT room and just play the crap out of RuneScape. I know I did, and then when I got home, I'd play the crap out of RuneScape again. It was just absolutely fantastic, and I do hope in the future to do a Kranitoko Plays MMOs of how RuneScape is now. So look out for that at some point. Daniel Nukzas asks, would you ever think of doing a legacy series? So do you mean the thing which Natalis does with his videos where he takes his characters and creates an official lore about them? Because I actually would like to do something similar to that in the future. Well, I'll go into greater detail about this backstory of Kranitoko and Strander, because they are fraternal twins after all. I did actually post a comment on Reddit one time when somebody was actually saying, oh, have you made a backstory to your characters? And I was just sort of like, made a mini story about the backstory to Kranitoko and Strander on how they are two different people, how one's Empire and one's the Republic. So if you want to read that, the link is in the description as well. But I would like to actually go into that further detail about that backstory. So, tell it in greater detail, and then tell the aftermath of what happened to Kranitoko and Strander, after the penultimate thing, which I'm not going to spoil, which happened to them. So I'd like to do that in the future, possibly, but I don't know when, because it's a very tricky thing to do. Like a boss! Nikki Kasan asks, if you lived in the world of SWOTOR, what character would you be? Does that question even need answering? Kranitoko, for sure. He's defeated hundreds of Jedi, killed his master and his master's secret apprentice. He has killed the Dread Masters, and will soon do a lot more in the future coming up in the expansions. Yeah, Kranitoko. I would want to be Kranitoko. He's more legendary than Revan. I said it. More legendary than Revan. Hi Big T also asks, what made you start recording videos? So before I started KranitokoGames, I actually had another channel called Goku First. Yes, the Goku from Dragon Ball Z, because I was a huge super fan when I was a kid. I mean, I'm not too much of a super fan now, but I still enjoy to watch Dragon Ball Z. I enjoy watching Team 4 Star. And I was kind of making videos as well on that channel, you know, such as a Stickman video series, which I called Kai, where I was speaking a high-pitched voice like this. This was Kai's voice. Yes, I can actually do a high-pitched voice, just naturally. I don't know how, I just can. Maybe that's the reason why my voice never broke. Anyway, he was just a random character who did random things. Unfortunately, the account was closed due to copyright, which at the time literally felt like the end of the world, because I was getting so many views, and then that was it. Closed. Yeah. So I created a new channel, KranitokoGames, yeah, I just started playing videos of myself playing video games, as most people do start off doing that. And then, of course, I heard that Star Wars The Old Republic was coming out, and that they were going to be in a beta, and I managed to get into the beta, and I thought, yeah, let's make a few videos of this. And then that's where my SWTOR videos kicked off, and you know, that's the rest is history, you know. Still doing Star Wars The Old Republic videos now. At the time, I had a few hundred subscribers. Now I'm in the 4,000 subscribers. You know, it's still not as many as I'd like, but look where I am now. The Black Briar asks, are you into Star Wars lore? And when did you originally get interested in Star Wars? As for the lore, not the lore with huge chunks of text. Ain't nobody got time to read that. I originally got interested in Star Wars when I was about 7 or 8. My brother had acquired episode 1 on VHS, and I used to borrow it when I went around my grand's house when she was still alive. I would literally watch the film religiously, even if I didn't actually understand what the heck was going on. But I do now, obviously. You know, it's amazing, really. You watch all these films as a kid, and you just don't understand it, and then you return to them about 5, 6 later, and you're like, so that's what that meant. And it's oh god, it's just it's amazing how much your perspective of a film changes when you're older. But yeah, I just loved it when I was watching it over and over again, and since then I've just been into Star Wars. Really, that's really it. Mega Man 0ZX127 asks, why did you choose the Sith Warrior and Jedi Consular in particular as your main class and not the other classes? I chose the Sith Warrior because it had been what I started with in the beta, and after what I played, I wanted to continue playing with him, so that I just stuck with it ever since, really. As for my Jedi Consular, I kind of wanted Kranitoko to have a Republic brother, roleplay wise. I know I'm not on a roleplay server, but you know, I just have this. I have these ideas in my head that I like my characters to have these sort of stories. So yeah, I didn't want to have a character which played exactly like my Sith Warrior, which was obviously the Jedi Knight, but I still wanted the Jedi, so the other option was Jedi Consular. So I just wanted that little bit of consistency, really, you know, a bit of the Knight or the Warrior, and then the Consular or the Inquisitor, and then of course, you know, I've got my Imperial Agent, which is the Smuggler on the Republic side, and then obviously there's a Trooper and the what's the other one on the Bounty Hunter? I think it's the Bounty Hunter. Yes, it's Bounty Hunter. Orish Cat asks, this might come off as a little too personal, but hey, you did share the fact that you are gay, so you probably don't mind. But do you have a boyfriend yet? Before I answer your question as well, Orish Cat, sorry that I don't answer your other questions, it's just going to be this one, unfortunately. Unfortunately not. I don't have a boyfriend. I mean, there have been a couple of guys I've dated for about a week, but then it just doesn't work out after that, so I'm probably just unlucky. And ugly! Another combined question, and firstly, Lieutenant Vipers asks, what is your favourite paid game you have got? And Joey R asks, what is your favourite game of all time? Oh god, this is going to be extremely tricky. Firstly, my favourite paid game that I assume that I currently own, it would probably be Titanfall, to be honest, because it's actually a shooter I am good at, shockingly. I know, me, good at a shooter, what? And when it comes to games like Call of Duty, I'm just terrible. I just can't play them for crap. My favourite game of all time, though, would be a very, very close call between the original Portal and Pokemon Red, Blue, and possibly Yellow. Portal just knew how to confuse you with very simple puzzles, which to this day I just adore, and I even adore its sequel as well. And Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow because, well, who didn't play these games for hours a day? It was literally the child addiction of the 90s. Literally. Kevin Kaiser asks, is YouTube your full-time job, and how long have you been making videos? Love the vids. Thank you very much. Obviously, it's not my full-time job because I mentioned earlier on in the video that I work for Morrisons, a supermarket chain, but I would really love it if this could be my full-time job, but to actually get there, I'd need about 300,000 subscribers. Maybe more, because depending on how many views I get will depend on how much money I get. And obviously I'm not making enough money that I could probably live off of. So if you guys could spread the word, that would be great, and I can actually make a full-time job out of this, but I'm probably not going to be able to, so, you know. We'll see. And I've been making videos since I was a teenager, actually, because I mentioned earlier about the Kai thing, and I made those when I was a teenager, so probably a good 8, 9, 10 years, and I've been in many videos across the internet. I've been in my friends' videos, I've been in competition videos, I've been in podcasts, I've been in everything. I'm all over the internet, literally. I'm saying literally a lot again. There. Right, so I haven't got much time of the video playing in the background because I only recorded about half an hour, so I'm going to get through these next few questions as quickly as possible. So, Tyler Septon asks, why are you my favourite YouTuber? Always have been and always will. I don't know. Why do you all watch me? I don't know. What is your favourite sci-fi universe? Star Wars, for sure. Yeah, it's just got... No. Doctor Who, sorry. If you could have any class ship from any space-capable race from any universe, what class and what would you name it? I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, what is it? What is it? The Ebon Hawk? Or is it? No. The Normandy. Yes, I would want the Normandy. And what would you want your crew to look like as well? Human? And finally, the Arthur also asks, when did you first hear about SWTOR and why did you decide to do videos of it? Obviously, I had played KOTOR many years ago, and then all of a sudden I was looking on the internet and I saw that they were making an MMO about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I was like, why an MMO? No, not an MMO. But I followed it anyway, and, you know, I'm still playing it now. Why did I decide to make videos on it? Well, I don't know. Why do I do anything? And thus, that is the end of my AMA. I apologise if I did not answer your question. Obviously, some of the questions were a little... I do apologise for saying that, but some of them were. You know, they're sort of like questions like, why have you not made this video? Why have you not made that video? Because, I don't know, why don't I make these videos? I'm lazy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm lazy. Yeah, basically. So... I'd like to do another AMA at some point. That would be very nice to do so I'll let you know when I want to do another one of those. Thank you for all your questions. I hope you know more about me now. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I shall see you next time. And a farewell to you.